If there's one thing I've figured out after 3 years of living in Dubai as a full-time trader, it's what this place actually gives you and what's completely overhyped online. Now, I'm from the UK personally. I started trading at 18 as a complete beginner. I went full-time at 20 building systematic strategies in Python. And then at 23, I packed up and moved out here with pretty much everything I owned in 2 suitcases and 1 computer bag. Now, somewhere along the way, the whole thing started to actually click. Now I'm 25 and I'm running a fully algorithmic portfolio across crypto, futures, and equities. And it's all from an apartment out here in Dubai. I have zero capital gains tax, 325 sunny days a year, and I somehow pay $20 for a bar of soap. It's let me help my family in real ways, helping out friends who needed it, and is slowly setting myself up for a life I genuinely enjoy. But don't get me wrong, this place is not the vision you see on Instagram, at least not all the time. There are real downsides nobody talks about, and the last few months got pretty wild out here for a couple of weeks. Now, what I wanted to do today is make a video for those of you who are thinking about moving out here, or for those who are just curious about what it looks like day to day in Dubai as a trader. Now, I'm not going to sell you the dream, but if you actually pay attention to what I'm about to share, you'll know by the end of this video whether Dubai is right for you or whether you'd genuinely hate it. So here are the 8 honest things about living in Dubai as a trader over the past 3 years of my experience. So let's get straight into it and let me head to my computer. So as I mentioned, let's get into the 8 honest things about living in Dubai as a trader, and then exactly how I make this all possible. First, as I mentioned, zero capital gains tax is a huge one over here. Now, it can sound like a small thing, but in all honesty, it completely changes the compounding curve. What would have maybe taken me 10 years to do somewhere else can probably take me around 5 years here, or maybe 7, depending on your cost of living. Everywhere else, you're handing out over 20% to 50% of your profits every single year. It can be the exact same strategy, same returns, but completely different endpoint. And personally, I can tell you, it does not feel good to pay over 6 figures in taxes. That was ultimately my breaking point in the UK, and that's when I decided to move out here. Ultimately, it was a toss-up between Thailand and Dubai and a place in Georgia, but ultimately, Dubai looked the best place after visiting it. But Dubai isn't completely free. They're not giving you zero capital gains and asking for nothing in return. You've got company set up, which renews every year, or you can buy like a bundle plan. You've got Visa, Medical, Emirates ID, and all of them have a price tag. Additionally, you do have a residency day requirement. A lot of people like to say, hey, you can just create a Dubai company and you never have to pay tax. That's not true at all. You still do need to be in Dubai for X amount of, depending on where your previous tax residence was and all those sort of things. And ultimately, I did still have to leave my home country, which was the UK and London, and I had to move away from family and friends to ultimately put myself in this position. And then when you consider, flying back costs if you want to visit them or them flying out here. Second is the cost paradox. So here's the very strange thing about Dubai. I think most people think it's incredibly expensive and everyone's paying, multiple 6 figures for apartments. Ironically, Dubai can be pretty much any cost you would like it. I definitely think there is a minimum because you have to pay for company setup and all those sort of things unless you're getting a job out here. But ultimately, what's more expensive, at least from my experience, is anything that's like around sweets, those sort of things. There's a sugar tax here, so never really expect any of those to be cheaper. Weirdly, things like grooming and toiletries and definitely sunscreen are quite expensive out here compared to at least like the UK. And then standard groceries, I'd say, are maybe a tiny bit higher. But ultimately, what is way cheaper is takeouts, delivery. They don't even come close to the UK prices. Personally, I went to visit the UK recently, and it was very easy to spend 20 to 50 pounds on like an easy takeout. Whereas in Dubai, it would be pretty hard pressed, I would say, to get above 30 pounds unless you're ordering a very big meal. Additionally, services like cleaning, laundry, taxis, all those sort of things are way cheaper here. And then lastly, because there's so much building happening in Dubai, overall you can get apartments at very good rates that have amazing amenities and ultimately great size. For example, a standard 2-bed here is normally going to be at least around 1,200 square foot, whereas in London or in other cities like that, most 2-beds are going to be maybe 900, 800 square foot, and they're going to be about the same price as they are in Dubai. Lastly, Dubai has also framed a lot of the things similar to UK. For example, you have a lot of common stores like Boots and Waitrose, which is sometimes weird because you can be walking around Dubai and then stumble into a Waitrose. But overall, the net effect here is I would say my monthly cost is lower here than in London, but I have a higher standard cost of living as well. So it's quite a decent margin overall. But it isn't the hugest margin in terms of actual dollars being spent or pounds being spent. Free is the time zone. Now, this is going to be very important to, I think, pretty much any trader. Now, there is one exception here is I'm an algorithmic trader. So ultimately, I can trade in any time zone. It doesn't really affect me. And I'll get more into that a bit later. But for the most part, US markets open up around here at 5:30 p.m. in the summertime and around 6:30 p.m. in wintertime. So my average schedule sort of looks like waking up at 11 a.m., spending off the first part of the morning doing emails, coding, research, all those sort of things. Then I'll be just watching markets from 5:30 onwards Now, necessarily, I'll still continue what I would normally do in the rest of the day, such as, gym, all those sort of things, dinner, but I'll still be aware that markets are open. So I'll still be checking my algos every once in a while just to make sure there's no issues. Now, honestly, I would still say this is one of my favorite time zones to be a trader in, just because you get all the morning without, any disruptions. And you can also see Asian markets quite easily. And you can also see pre-market open. So if you have any pre-market positions or anything like that, it's very easy to watch those. The only time zone I would dare say that is slightly a bit better is London, just because here markets are closing around 1 a.m. or at least 12 a.m. Whereas in London, if I'm not mistaken, it's around like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. From my memory, which still means you can be detached on like Friday nights and those sort of things more easily compared to at least Dubai. Next, it's absurdly safe. I gave this example ages ago on Twitter, but it was primarily where I left my laptop on a desk just outside a kind of coffee shop, and no one touched it. I walked around probably for like 30 minutes, and absolutely nothing happened to it. Additionally, I've seen many times where people have left the Rolexes or very expensive watches out and about on a dinner table, and no one will touch it for hours. Probably the craziest example I can give of this is a friend of mine left their car with their keys in the ignition by mistake when they came over to my place, and I think like watched a movie and talked for a while. When they left my apartment, the car still wasn't stolen or anything, and that was probably like 5 hours. And it wasn't necessarily on the poshest street in Dubai; it was just on a regular street. Coming from London, this has taken me quite a while to adjust that I can leave my phone out or I can leave my laptop out. Still, I'll see myself pulling in my bag closer to my leg when it's really just not needed here in Dubai. Five is the sunshine. No joke, you definitely get 325 days of sunshine here. And I know this maybe sounds a bit soft, but coming from the UK, that gap in sunshine is enormous. My focus, my energy levels are just incredibly much better here. Additionally, if I want to go out and do an activity, I can always, basically guarantee that it's sunny and fine. So whereas going for tennis or golf or whatever, it's always a great time to do it. Now, I will say, obviously, the heat is a big factor here. So in the summer times, it does get quite unbearably hot. Now, you can either take this for a point where you can go on like a summer vacation, and that's what a lot of people do here in Dubai, or you can lock in and basically just, be inside most of the time, but actually getting a lot of work done. Six is motivation by proximity. Here, success is incredibly visible absolutely everywhere. And it does do something to your head. Now, it depends on you and your personality or the way you look at it, but being surrounded by visible wealth either leads you to be thinking, hey, there's a lot more space for you to grow. You can get even bigger. You can trade bigger. You can make so much more money. Or it can become a trap where you constantly feel like you're behind and that basically demotivates you. For me, I would say on most days, it is definitely the first one where it motivates me to think bigger and also just makes you realize how much money there is out there, especially if you've come from a poor background, kind of like myself. It's very easy to have a scarcity mindset where you just don't think that this is even possible in life. But some of the yachts, some of the people, some of the cars I've seen here is absolutely absurd. To give one very small anecdote, in my previous apartment, there was a guy that lived in that apartment block. You would come downstairs and he had 3 blacked out cars with very similar number plates, but all just like one number different on each of them. And I'm not talking about like, extremely cheap cars. It was a G-Wagon, it was a Porsche, and then I think it was like an AMG, which is just absurd to see in a regular lineup and, in a regular sort of apartment block. 7 is a family first culture. Now, hear me out on this one. Obviously, I know it's not directly linked to trading or making money or anything like that, but one thing that's really nice here is Dubai is, famously known for being obsessed with money, and I'll still say it, it's a very capitalistic place, but they really do create a focus around family. And a lot of the ads you see here is always a family and, a child, or you'll see children out late at night, like in parks playing with their friends. And because of that safe environment, it does really breed that kind of family first culture, which has been really nice, especially for myself. I've been in a long-term relationship for quite a while. And ultimately, it makes it more of a place where potentially you could raise a family and those sort of things. Now, 8 is actually setting it up in Dubai. Ultimately, I would say it's a pretty easy process. The first time is always going to be the hardest, but just for reference, I recently had to renew my visa, and it basically took 2 days. I had to renew my business and then also my visa as well. It was incredibly quick, even with everything going on with the Iran war. And ultimately, Dubai does try and make it as easy as possible for you. The only thing I'll say is make sure to do your due diligence. There are definitely a ton of scam companies here that try and, basically take your money, or they just are going to put you in really bad schemes. I was very lucky that I already had a couple of developers that worked for me here, and they had people that they could recommend. But ultimately, once you do get started into the process, it's not going to take you too long to get everything up and running. Now, there's a part, obviously, I have to mention with this, right? Over the past couple of months, we've had the whole Iran situation out here, and I'm not going to pretend it wasn't unsettling because it definitely was. But with everything considered, it was handled incredibly well. Probably the most surreal part of this was how everything stayed normal, at least within Dubai. So you'd see all these crazy headlines, you'd hear all these crazy things, and then you'd be able to order like McDonald's just on your phone casually on a Friday evening. Now, of course, if things continue and got worse, then maybe I would, change for the long term. But at least right now, I'm still planning to stay in Dubai for a very long period of time. It just makes sense for me and also what I personally do. Now, to be clear, I did actually fly out for about 3 months, give or take. I was just traveling around Asia, but I more treated it as like a holiday, and it was nice that I'm back. And anyway, most of the time in summer, most people are flying out of Dubai anyway, at least for a small bit. So, how did I actually do this with all my trading? Well, everything about moving here and actually, basically living here has come from trading and business. I'd say the majority has been from my trading side of things. A lot of my business revenues just kind of flow back into my trading capital or into my long-term kind of like stock portfolio. But the one key thing here is I'm not maybe a traditional trader in the sense that I'm sitting down at a desk all day and staring at charts. Personally, what I actually do is I write the rules in code and then I let code decide basically when it's going to execute for me. Personally, me clicking any buttons isn't part of any of the execution part of things in trading. And also, being an algorithmic trader made this move incredibly easy for me because nothing really changed. I didn't really have to change any servers or anything like that. I just had to kind of create the corporation here in Dubai and I was able to trade under it. Now, to give you a bit more reference into what I actually do algorithmically, ultimately, I'm finding ideas for strategies, then I am backtesting it on years of data, deploying them live, and then I'm monitoring and iterating based on them. Right now, I run about 10 strategies across crypto, futures, and equities. For crypto, I primarily use Python and Hyperliquid. I also use a couple other exchanges. Futures, I'm primarily coding in C# with NinjaTrader. And then equities, I'm using Python with Interactive Brokers or DAS. And with DAS, it'll normally be through C# as well. They're all trading completely different markets. They're all doing different styles, mean reversion, trend following, all those sort of things. And the main reason being is in algorithmic trading, we aren't betting on, one perfect strategy or anything like that. We're ultimately trying to create uncorrelated signals or uncorrelated strategies and running them all together in a portfolio, which gives us the best risk-adjusted return. To give you a look inside my portfolio, here's my Interactive Brokers login for the past 30 days. As you can see, I was up around 18%. Now, I did have a 10% drawdown during that time, so hey, it definitely wasn't the best risk-adjusted returns, but I have been running live for multiple years now. And just to be clear, Interactive Brokers is just one part of my portfolio. I still have futures and crypto, and I do plan to do another kind of like a recap video very soon. It's on my kind of checklist to do. So ultimately, why did I actually move? Well, I just want to give you a quick maths example here, just because a bigger trader presented this exact same scenario to me when I was deciding about moving to Dubai. Now, he personally lived in a different kind of tax residence, meaning that he had his whole kind of different idea of it, but he was ultimately pushing me towards trying to lower my tax bill because I was complaining around that I had a six-figure tax bill for trading, and he said, long term, that's going to really affect your compounding and growth, and it's also going to be even worse if you go into a drawdown. So ultimately, for this really quick example, let's say you had a 100K account, you're doing 20% a year, and you're doing that over 10 years. With zero capital gains, you're getting about $619,000. If you're taxed at just 20%, so that's not even that high, I would say, you're then left with $441,000, which ultimately means you paid 178K in tax. Now, that's just in tax alone, but let's just keep in mind here, you potentially still could have drawdowns on top of those, which could make it even worse. Two, you still have life cost and living cost, right? That's going to eat into that. And it's not going to eat into your tax bill. It's going to be on top of your tax bill. And ultimately, all this money is money that you will never be able to compound because it's just going straight to tax. Now, I'm going to leave out the whole separate conversation of, if tax is good or not. Ultimately, I think there are great ways it can be used, and there are ultimately a lot of governments that don't use it very well. And I still, to this day, would be very happy to pay my fair share if it wasn't completely unreasonable. But just to give you a bit more context on my scenario, when I was paying six figures in tax, you might be thinking, hey, maybe he was doing like seven figures a year or something crazy like that. I wasn't. I was doing like maybe low to mid six figures, and I was still paying that above in tax. And to this day, it still has hurt my compounding by at least 1 or 2 years, which I've had to catch up by moving to Dubai as well. Additionally, without even the tax scenario, one thing that's actually huge in Dubai and has been a huge time saver for me is where my head is actually going when you have this whole tax scenario. When I was in the UK, obviously you had accountants, you had filing deadlines, you had to track every single thing for tax. And ultimately, even accountants can't really give you a very clear answer. A lot of it is gray. I actually studied accounting at university. A lot of it is gray on necessarily if it qualifies or doesn't. And you're still going to have the possibility of an audit and all those sort of things that can really come to bite you in the ass. In my time in the UK, I took that all very seriously just because I knew how badly it could get if you didn't, pay your tax correctly. But ultimately in Dubai, instead of having to focus on all those sort of things, nowadays I have an accountant that solves a very simple process for me. Ultimately, I pay basically 0%, but you still have to track some things here and there. And now all that time and stress gets to go into better strategies, doing more research, getting my actual strategies deployed, all those sort of things. Ultimately, I'm playing the long game here. I want the next 20 years of compounding to actually belong to me, and I'll pay a huge slice of that in taxes to, somewhere else. And ultimately, if you want to actually try and build an algorithmic strategy, something that you can run live, I'd recommend looking into the crypto mentoring group that we run. We help you deploy real code, real testing, real deployments, instead of a strategy that never leaves the back test. With AI tools nowadays, we can help teach you how to code and deploy your first live strategy within weeks instead of years, even if you're starting with zero coding experience at all. If ultimately you want to build your first live algo in 2026, click that link in the description if you want a hand with it. So would I recommend moving here after the 3 years and a bit? My take would be only if you're generally fine with the downsides. If you're coming from a city, I think Dubai will be, quite similar to most cities' experiences. There are definitely things that are more different. It's still a building city in the sense there's a lot of construction, all those sort of things. But everyone I've met here has been incredibly kind, incredibly nice. And personally, at least for me, I'll probably be staying here for at least quite a bit. Now, I hope this video was valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.